Hi, this is Joe from Dekaytah, and you're listening to the Dan Chan Show.
So I am joined by Dekaytah. Guys, please introduce yourselves. Start with you, Sam.
Hi, I'm Sam and I play guitar.
I'm Joe. I'm the lead vocalist of Dekaytah.
I'm Ethan and I'm the bassist.
I'm Jack, and I also play guitar.
Awesome. Now, where you guys based? Obviously, are you quite close to each other, or are you distance apart? Whereabouts are you in the UK?
Yeah, so me and Jack, me and Jack met in college, like in the Warrington area.
Right.
I'm from Newton Willows. Jack's from like Appleton, but it's like 20-minute drive, not far. Sam's from Bury,
Murray.
and
Barry, get it right. Barry.
Ethan's all the way down in Peterborough.
Wow.
I'm from Peterborough, but I moved to Stockport about a year ago.
Oh, did you? Going to say, because those people that don't know the UK geographically, that is quite a distance cross country from Peterborough to the northwest. So now you're up in Stockport, so that's good. So, all right, we're going to get into the machinations of how you got together, but I want to talk about your debut album, which came out. Well, it's a few months old now. Behind the Eyes, There Is Nothing. It's a great album, awesome production. It came out last November. How has it been received since then? Obviously, we're talking about 4 or 5 months now. It's been out. Does it feel like old hat to you? And what's the vibe like?
Yeah,
Take it.
yeah.
Go on, Sam.
Yeah, it was a great experience. Like recording it. Obviously, Jack and Joe, they are the main creators of our music. So just seeing what they've been working on, obviously we chip in here and there when we can with little ideas. But yeah, just hearing it all come together, getting in the studio, recording it was absolutely like an amazing experience. We recorded it at Red City Recordings in Manchester, near Shrewd Hill bus station for those who know Manchester. And yeah, it was just an amazing experience, and the reception that we got from it kind of like blew us away a little bit. It was all like organic streams and, like people that we'd never even heard of before just coming along and just sharing it on social media and all that and just saying how much they love it. And it's just it was quite wild. It's nice to actually finally get something out there because, like every musician in the world wants their own products out for the public to listen to. And it's been a long time coming, but yeah, it was a fantastic reception. I couldn't have asked for any better, to be honest.
Was it all recorded there?
Yeah,
everything was recorded there.
Did you have like a time? Was it like a time? Were you rushed on it because you had like a certain amount? Was it downtime? Was it like a 3-week period? Were you just going in and out when you could?
It was 6 weeks, wasn't it? Six weeks, Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
I mean, with us all working full time as well, like we had to kind of manage it round like our jobs and stuff. But hats off to Jack. He literally took 6 weeks off and just was in the studio every day.
Yeah.
So I mean, Jack really stepped up and like took a kind of hit, really, like a financial hit on top of the hit of like how much it cost and that, like. But it was a lot of like tears, blood, sweat that went into that record. Even like from me and Jack starting the band and when we first started writing, and that was like 5 years prior. Before, when me and Jack was in college and was just writing demos at Jack's, and and then over time we got the band together, and then we started to actually craft the album, and then to hear it in all its glory, like when we finally got the masters back, was just like it was it's like a proud moment. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I've been being a musician for pretty much as long as I can remember. It's like there was a goal just to create an album, get that under your belt.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. It's always the first one's. First one's always the best. And Jack, did you take a producer role with it, or did you engineer it? What level did you? How far did you go away from you playing guitar? Did you take to actually producing it?
Well, producing wise, I guess on a technical level, our engineer Dave, he was kind of the backbone of it all. He was driving the desk and going for all the techniques and things like that. So yeah, Dave at Red City, he is massively important to kind of being the backbone of it. But in terms of me, I was kind of being in every day, overseeing it in a way, kind of making sure everything comes together, and any kind of questions that Dave needed help on, I was just there ready to rumble with it. So yeah, it was really long process, but the most rewarding thing I've maybe ever done in my life. So
Yeah, nice
absolutely.
one. So obviously, leading up to the recording, you're writing your tracks. How long did it take you to get the album's worth together of material?
Well, it's our first ever single we released a couple of years back was, we wrote that tune maybe not even far off, probably 10 years ago,
Yeah.
maybe 7 or 8 years ago. But in terms of album tracks, there's some on there definitely about 5 years old, and then there's
Wow.
some that were literally finished weeks before recording it. So it was kind of a long time coming, but obviously things in the meantime, some tunes didn't work, some tunes didn't make it, some riffs didn't make it. But yeah, it's been a long time of writing if you add it all up.
So how does
Yeah,
that work with regards to say if you putting tracks on the album that are many years old, how's the evolution of the writing going? Do you find that those tracks are quite old to you now, or you've done better, but you had to put them on because you want to, all killer no filler kind of thing, or was it like you did have to have a filler in or do you still love those tracks? What was it?
yeah. I think like there's tracks that didn't make it for that reason. Whereas like we've evolved too much to like kind of include them.
Yeah,
But the tracks that every track on that album, all that the old ones and new was like this is like the album. Do you know what I mean? Everything, all of them fit into place. Uh, I take a coward at the hand of God. That's a really old one. Feel this is an old one as well. Them two was like written about the same time, but
hmm,
especially coward. Um, that was like it's just seeing that one go off live more. It was like that needs to be on. That needs to be there. That needs to be on the album just for the like the
yeah,
live aspect of it.
yeah,
Because especially the people who actually come to watch us and have like seen us multiple times and like they know that tune. We feel this as well. That's a quite popular one when we play live. It's like
yeah,
we need to put them on for the people who actually listen to us. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
They deserve that spot.
Yeah, of course. Now, how are you writing your music? Do you get together in a room? Do you sort of like send files over the internet to each other from Stockport to Warrington kind of thing? Or do
Yeah,
you, how does it work for you guys?
so it's basically me and Jack. Me and Jack have kind of been like the main writers. Tom, when he was in the band, he came in as well. But in the early days, it was like I'd have an idea or Jack would have an idea, and he'd send it over, and we'd send it over to each other. But it always come. Me and Jack had always come together at Jack's because Jack's got a right good setup. It is
Nice.
like walking into like a spaceship, and like it's cool. Such a cool environment like to be in. But me and Jack have always had really good chemistry when we're writing. Like we just instantly click, and I feel like it's one of the most fun parts about being in a band is when we come together and start writing and
Yeah,
just
yeah,
be creative.
100%. Yeah.
So like every time we've got together, we've always I don't think there's ever been a day where we've gone in and like not come out with something. We've never
Cool.
like gone in and been like, oh well, today didn't work. Like,
Yeah.
we'll try again next week. We've always ended up coming out with something
Yeah.
cool
Yeah.
or something we can work with. So yeah, that's basically it. And then obviously when we said right, we're going to record an album, it was like right, we're meeting up once a week, and just write, and then just like the intensity of it just made it all so much better.
Yeah.
And like when it came to like the end, and it was like I think Tears, Blood, Sweat, and Jack only wrote the riff for it about 2 weeks prior, and I was like, no, we've not got time to do it. We've not got time to do it, and we ended up. But then we ended up just like, yeah, we ended up just doing it, and it just like, you know what I mean? Like it's one of my favorites on the
It's
album
like
as well.
Def Leppard and Pour Some Sugar. They did it last minute. It's
Yeah.
last minute thing. Now, tell me about the themes running through. Who's writing the lyrics? Who's the lyrics guy? Is it a shared thing? Is it you, Joe, because you're a vocalist, or what's the situation?
Yeah, it's basically me. I'm the main lyricist of the band. Jack did write the words in Coward, and I did some like rewriting for that. But yeah, it's basically me who does all the lyrics. Like,
Yeah. So, what's the themes? What are you writing about?
right. So it kind of came at a good time when I was writing this because for metal as well. Like, I'm not sounding cliche, but I was going through some stuff like at the time.
Yeah.
And like I think that's what made me want to like do the album even more because it was just like really took my mind off things. But especially in like tunes like Rot, that's a tune that means a lot to me. That tune because that's about being in a really dark place and it is some of the lyrics are quite, especially the first verse is like quite morbid, but the chorus is like, you know, open your eyes, open your heart, open yourself to the world we live in. It's like, you know what I mean? Like there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. There's always a way out of like what you're feeling. And the second verse is like, you know, digging yourself out that hole and, you know, getting better and stuff. But also like a trap move. That's more like just energy party. You know what I mean? Like just saying, you know, do what, you know, just smash it in whatever you do, enjoy yourself. That's like the party tune of the album. But then also like Coward, The Hand of God. That's like kind of like that's like fiction. That's kind of just like, you know, like you know, a man who's like regretted stuff with his life and death's coming to take him away, and like, you know, he's now he's facing God. He's a coward. There was a tune actually called Solitary as well, which is a single, and Jack just he just called it Solitary because it was a cool name.
Right.
Why? Because I love like my horror films and like horror stuff and stories. I just basically just made it about like a guy in solitary. He was like a mass murderer, like a proper scum of the earth.
Wrong'un, yeah.
And he was in prison, and that's where he's going to be staying for the rest of his life. And he's saying that like the people of the outside love him being tortured inside, and it's like just his like mental state. That's what that tune is, but that just came from just the name Solitary. So I just wanted to make it as dark as I could.
When you're writing from the heart, is it quite cathartic to do that? Is it kind of like a release? Because there'll be a lot of people that will listen to lyrics and read lyrics that will actually relate to it and take some feeling from it and take something from it to help their lifestyle as well.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the cool things about being able to write this sort of stuff and being able to write and like, you know, express ourselves and hope, like, you know, even if it's like one person or someone just can connect with it, that's, you know, our job done.
Sure.
But yeah, like for me, Rot is like, you know, that's a special tune to me. And that I remember it was like kind of going a bit deep here, but like when we was recording it, but we started playing it acoustically, and it just hit a spot for me. And I don't know what it was, but I was playing at home, and I remember like playing it, and I actually kind of like welled up, and I was like had a bit of like I actually had a bit of a like breakdown really, because like it just all like these feelings over the past year. And at this point, I was feeling a lot better. I mean, it just kind of hit me all, and it was like such like a release. But that was for me. Do you know what I mean? Like that was like my experience. So you know, that was very personal for me.
So when it comes to writing lyrics and even writing the riffs, do you actually have to get into a certain space to do that, or are you constantly doing it? For example, if you're driving the car or you're traveling or you wake up in the middle of the night, do you have a piece of pen and paper at the side of the bed, and do you hum riffs into your phone? I mean, I'm a drummer, so I don't have a melody in my head, but I have ideas. But you know, what's the situation? How do you have a set time, or is it 24 hours, 24/7?
For me, it's like I'll just be noodling on the guitar, and I'll just come up with a cool riff. And I'll just kind of record it however I can. I've not got the best setup, like, but I'll record it how I can, and I'll bring it to Jack then, and then we'll create something from there. But Jack, if you want to elaborate about how you do it, mate?
I never have an answer for this question because there's no real one way that I write. So for example, like you say, just humming a riff. For example, the main first riff in Rot, the do 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 do, and that section of rhythm, I completely heard it in my head. That one was one where I didn't figure it out on guitar first. I heard it and figured it out for myself in my head and translated it. And then there's other tunes where I'll be sat looping beat for 2 hours, and then you'll finally get one bar of a riff down, and it's quite painful. So I really don't have an answer to that question. And the great thing about the way me and Joe come together as well is I'll have maybe 2 sections of a tune and I'll think, I have absolutely no idea what to do with this. And Joe just instantly knows what it needs. And it goes the other way as well. Joe will have one think, I don't know what to do with this. And I'll instantly know what to do with it.
Yeah.
So there's really a huge variation in the way that we write. There's no one way or another.
And especially now as well, it's like now the album's done and we're moving on, like Dekaytah 2.0 now.
Yeah.
It's like me and Jack's like started to come together again, and we're just writing, we're just having so much fun in it. It's so much fun at the minute, Jack, in it. Like, but we're just like writing like last time we came together and was like, oh, let's just meet. We've been on a bit of a new metal hype, so we ended up just writing like a proper rip off like Limp Bizkit thing. I'm doing some rapping in it, but the tune's hard. Me and Jack think the tune's hard, and it's like I think that's like the direction we kind of want to take now is just like not really think about it too much. Just write what we think's cool, what we enjoy, what we think's gonna like go off, and it's more like of a bouncy aspect, a party aspect.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a change in feeling as well.
Well, that's my next question. You know, so you're already working on new music for the next record, right? That's happening. So the last question about the writing, do you write with the listener in mind, or do you do it selfishly for what you like? Or do you think about what will go down well live? You know, this is going to be a banger live, or it's going to be killer in this situation. How do you write? Do you write with that mentality?
I think we write. I think we write for us, so we're selfish in that aspect. Like, obviously, we want to write what we want to listen to.
Of course.
But then we'll be like, that riff's going to go hard. That's going to sound really good. And then with that in mind, we'll be like, oh, we'll do this because it will translate well live. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think on Move, it was like the end section. We could have just kind of gone into like, I think the idea was we were just going to go into like a standard, just like kind of metalcore breakdown. But then we was like, nah, do it half time and do it really slow because it'll just catch everyone off guard and just drop it even harder. You know what I mean?
Clever. Yeah, I love that.
It's kind of back and forth on that, but we never like going like, oh well, we're not going to do that because people won't like it. We write it because we want to.
Yeah, and you're fans of the music as well, so it's going to go down live, surely. Anyway, so tell me how the band formed and how you met each other and what made you decide on this route. Ethan, let's go with you. You've been quiet.
So I was one of the later members.
Oh, let's start with Sam then. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, that's probably better.
Okay, from a latecomer's perspective, let's have you tell me what you know. You'll know more than me.
So I know that. So Joe and Jack went to college together, and that's obviously how they got together. And I think they started writing. I'm not really sure how that came about specifically. And then I know that Joe and Sam then met at university.
Yeah.
And then when I came in, it was more I was in another band, or I was in sort of like this project. It wasn't really going anywhere. But the drummer of that project managed to get into contact with these guys somehow.
Yeah.
And then he said to me, oh, they're looking for a bassist. Do you want to join? I was like, yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah.
Met up with them for a practice. That drummer never actually turned up, but I did. And so
sections, fucking hell.
So they had already, I think Jack or Sam, Jack sent me over some sort of stuff to learn, like demo tracks to learn whilst like when I get to practice. And then we're just jamming through some of the tunes that I was able to learn. And I just glued instantly. I was like, I'm fucking loving this.
Yeah.
So I was I think was probably about halfway through the practice. I was like, I'm staying here. Like I'm not going anywhere.
Nice.
And then like I think it was a few days later, I got into contact with that drummer. He was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing it. So it was sucks for him, innit?
Okay, Sam, can we fact check that? Is that all facts?
Yeah, that's pretty much facts. Obviously, I know that Jack and Joe have been writing together since they were in college and stuff. And Joe, when I first met Joe, he was in another band at the time called Serotonin. They're actually pretty cool. You should check the tunes out on Spotify.
Yeah.
And I knew like Joe was in this band and we were chilling together in uni and whatnot. And I said to him, I was like, well, I've not been in a band in years. So I said to him, I was like, lad, you looking for like another guitarist for Serotonin? And he was like, nah, it's always going to be a three piece, me and my mates from school and whatnot. So I was like, all right, sound. And he was like, oh, but I am starting up like a little like metal side thing with like one of my mates from college. Like, we need another guitarist. Do you want to come down to a session? And I was like, yeah, sound, just send me, if you've got any demos, send me across. And then they sent me across Taken by Madness and straight I was like, lad, I'm on this.
Yeah.
Let's get a room together, let's practice it. And then that was first year of uni, so like 7 years ago now, nearly.
Wow.
Probably is about 7 years ago, actually.
Time's moving too fast.
Way too fast.
It's grim, innit? It's grim how quick time's going.
Winter like,
but yeah,
May,
and then Ethan joined was it like a year or so after that, maybe 2 years after
around that,
that.
yeah. We went through a few different people, like trying to find the right people who was cut out for it.
That's so important, though, being in a band. You're going to be spending time together. I've been in many bands, so I know exactly how you feel. And the whole brotherhood thing is it's like when you do gigs and stuff, it's like a stag do with music. You got to get on with the people that you're hanging out with. It's so important.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's always a good time when like we have a gig and all that. Obviously, like since I've met Joe and Jack, like instantly glued with them straight away. Like when I first met them, and like when we play a gig now, afterwards we help each other pack down. We make sure we've got everything.
Right.
And then, like let's do a couple beers, depending on how much gear we've got with us. We might have a few. We might not have a few.
Yeah.
But yeah, we enjoy each other's company. We have a good time whenever we're out and about, and it's just like we're not just a band, we're mates. You know what I mean? Like we're quite close mates. So
that's good.
Like it's just a great vibe whenever we're about.
Do you hang out away from the studio? Like, do you have to have instruments to hang out, or can you not have the instruments to be able to hang out with each other? I'm sure that's
no. I don't think we have to have the instruments necessary to like hang out, but we all do live like quite far away from each other.
Right,
like,
yeah.
If I were to go to Jack's or Joe's, it'd take me like nearly 2 hours to get there.
Right.
It's not very often that we go that way, and we usually do it for a purpose, for something.
Sure.
Plus, we all work different times as well. Like I'm an audio engineer. I work in the evenings. I'm actually in work right now.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, we all work different times and stuff, so it is hard to try and get around that, but we make do with it.
Yeah,
I mean, gigs is a really good like link up for us. Like when there's a band in town and we'll all go in this and that, like
Yeah.
And especially like I had a barbecue last year for my birthday and I invited everyone. Do you know what I mean? Like definitely that sort of relationship.
Yeah,
like,
nice.
I want the band to come and meet all my boys and like my
mates, for sure.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's definitely like brothers. Do you know what I mean? Like
that's the best. It has to be that. Has to be that way for it to be successful. Now, tell me about the name. Where did the name come from? Because it looks good, it sounds good, but what is it, and where is it? Where does it come from?
That came from Tom. Our recently drummer who's not with us anymore.
Well, actually, let me jump in.
It was Jack.
It was my idea originally.
Oh, was it?
So
yeah, it was.
Well, it was basically, cut a long story short, and a family friend of mine who recently passed away. I used to look after her dog very regularly, and it was a big American Akita dog, and she was massive. Like she would bite my head off in my sleep if she wanted to. And I just thought the name Akita was just like such a cool word, so I messed with it and spelled it differently and Tay instead of an I and all this stuff. And I was suggesting that to all the boys, and they just started spelling it differently and thinking loads of different ways of doing it.
Yeah.
And just from there, we came up with that, because I tell you what, we went through about 250 billion band names that were already taken.
And then you have to Spotify check it.
Yeah, exactly. So it was actually one of the most painful things I've ever done in my life, I'll be honest with you. So
yeah, I know.
We ended up just thinking, let's just make something up that's original, and that'll be it, and we're done. Yeah. And we know that's us. And
that's definitely original. So that no one's going to nick that unless they see your name and like it. Now,
I've got a great story about the band name.
Sam, go on.
We were playing a gig at Rebellion a couple of years ago now. And like, we've got all our mates, our families there and all that down to support. And I'm having a chat with Joe's dad. And some like people are asking about us and all that, and they're coming up to us like, "Oh, so like, what's the name mean? What's all that?" And I've got no answer for it. And Joe's dad just pops along. He's had a few beers. He loves a beer, Ardeen. He pops on and he goes, "It means winner. That's what it means. It means winner." And like, ever since he said that, it's just stuck with me. So when somebody asks what Dekaytah means, it just means we're a winner. It means you're a winner.
That's good for me. I'll take that. I'll take that. Be in the dictionary next year.
Yeah, literally.
So what influences, do you bring? Are you all reading from the same hymn sheet musically, or are you bringing different musical influences to the table? What music got you into in metal? Let's go around the table. Start with Ethan again.
So for me, it was a lot of like 2000s metalcore.
Yeah.
Like, Avenged Sevenfold during their sort of City of Evil and their self-titled Butterfly Valentine, The Poison. Escape the Fate and Falling in Reverse, all that sort of very standard metal. And then I just started getting into heavier stuff. Like I then sort of like divulged into like Slipknot and Parkway Drive and Lamb of God and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then I just kind of went from there and just started discovering heavier and heavier stuff.
Okay.
And yeah, that's...
Is everyone agreeing with that route, or has anyone got anything else to throw into the mix?
Oh, I think we're all completely different. To be
Okay,
honest.
cool. Let's Sam, you
Everything
go on, Sam. What you got?
I
love
so
this.
like,
I love how the machinations happen. I love it. Go on.
So, yeah, back when I was a kid, like it was like proper like mid-2000s American metal, like Trivium, Lamb of God. Oh God, my mind's gone blank now. What's that Christian metal band called? As I Lay Dying.
All right.
A lot of that stuff. And then as I've gotten older, I've gotten more into like proggier, gentier type stuff.
Okay.
And it's got to the point now where I actually don't really listen to that much metal anymore. More just like prog, like rock.
Okay.
I guess at the moment.
Well, like old school stuff, or
like Carnival, Dead Letter Circus,
right.
Wheel are great. Yeah, just some really weird proggy stuff is what I'm into at the moment. But yeah, leading up to that, it was just like a lot of the American metal. Lamb of God was massive, and Trivium was massive for me when I was a kid, and that kind of started it.
Joe or Jack?
Yeah, I've definitely got the best taste in music in the band. Let's just put it that way.
Well, then let's have it.
But it's come. I mean, I've been into metal since I was a small kid, so I've been through all the waves of heavy metal. But you know, the ones that really stand the test of time, completely different genres. So I was obsessed with Skin Dread as a kid, and I'm still equally as obsessed with them now.
Yeah.
Then as a teenager, I was proper into like deathcore stuff, like Thy Art Is Murder and Aborted. They were two huge influences on me. So it's, you know, I've been through all the waves of it, but it's really hard to pinpoint it because we're also divergent in the metal taste.
Yeah, I agree.
So much going on. But yeah, they're just a couple names that still to this day I absolutely love.
Yeah.
Can't believe you didn't mention Meshuggah then, Jack.
I was literally about to say.
Yeah, actually, the best metal band of all time is Meshuggah. Thanks for reminding me.
I can agree with that statement.
Joe,
too.
anyone else for the sprinkling in the mix?
I mean, for myself, it's like, yeah, like I'm level with Jack on the Skin Dread vibe. Like, yeah, definitely like a lot of like new metal stuff, like Biscuit, Rage Against the Machine is like my all-time favorite.
Second best band in the world.
Yeah, yeah, definitely Slipknot Partway was a massive influence when I started writing. Like these days now, like I'm really into like Throne and Malevolence, Not Loose,
I forgot about them.
Kublai Khan.
Yeah,
that really aggressive sound. I actually went watching a band called Paleface Swiss the other day.
Yeah,
quality.
I know they're like. I knew they were going to be sick, but I never really listened to them properly, so I kind of put off listening to them just until I seen them live. And oh my, they're one of the best bands I've seen in a while. But that sort of sound at the minute for me is really hitting the spot.
Nice.
But yeah, the old stuff is like new metal sort of vibe, Lamb of God sort of stuff, Slipknot, Korn, can't forget Korn.
No, of course not. Of course not.
It's anything that's heavy and groovy for me.
Yeah, I get it. So show-wise, what's happening and what have you been doing? Because you played with Pitch Shifter, I think, recently, which is like a band from my neck of the woods, Nottingham. I used to know those guys many years ago when we used to rehearse in the same studios, you know what I mean? Like back in the day. So what's been happening show-wise? What's going forward? What's happening?
So, yeah, that Pitch Shifter gig was awesome. And for me, it was like, I used to actually work at that venue, Gorilla, bartending and working the venue. So being able to actually play on that stage with such an incredible lineup, and Black Gold as well, they're another incredible band. Really cool guys as well. That was ace. But before that, we had our biggest show, which was at Academy 3 in Manchester. Now, if you would have told us that we'd be doing that when we first started the band, when we first came onto the scene, it was like, we weren't even in our minds. But we entered, it was called Metal to the Masses, and that really like put us on the Manchester scene. And then that got us like our management, Robin. Big shouts to Robin. And yeah, and he gave us that gig to headline Academy 3, and that was like such a challenge and such like kind of like a, if we can pull this off, you know, we're onto it. And
yeah,
my God, like we packed the place out. It was a proper show, and we put everything into that. We choreographed the set, the lights, you know. It was getting to a point where I was going to be pulling my hair out just how much I was like stressing over it and that, but it was like so worth it. And now we're going to be doing Club Academy, which is like the kind of the step up from Academy 3, more capacity.
Yeah, I played it. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, then I don't really want to say anything, you know, obviously why it's not out yet, but we've got a really big plan for the start of January. And if we can pull that off, I think it's just going to make waves. I don't think many people can really ignore us then. I think if we can pull that off, it's going to be hard to ignore, really.
Yeah. So what's a Dekaytah show like?
Oh, carnage.
Is it really?
Carnage. Honestly, like just because our music's pretty like diverse. Like we've got a lot of different stuff going on with our tunes, and each tune's completely different. Like we've got new metal bouncy tunes, we've got serious heavy tunes, blast beats in some parts. It's just carnage. Like you've got people spin kicking, crowd surfing. Like I jump down into the crowd and shit sometimes, and so does Joe. Like we
Wall
just
of
go
Death. We're talking Wall of Death.
Oh yeah, big time.
Plenty of that.
Big time.
That's coward. That's coward.
Yeah, that's coward.
That dropping coward is always like, right, if you've ever seen it before, you know what do, and you don't even have to say anything. The crowd just split. Like, yeah. We've got a lad called Bruce, and he's like we call him the band mascot. And I literally just say, everyone, just listen to Bruce. He'll tell you what to do. Big control in the pit, going, to size, and yeah, man.
He's massive as well, so you just tell them what they're doing. Right.
So here's a question: it can divide the room here. What do you guys prefer, studio or stage? Do you prefer the creating, or do you prefer the uncertainty of a stage and what that can give you?
I'm going to say stage.
I'm torn.
Definitely live for me. Definitely.
Yeah.
As much as it brings me like anxiety and stuff, like I think when we actually finally get on there and it's going off and that, and we're doing our job, it's just next level. Hearing the stuff that we've created and then seeing it live and the impact is brilliant. But yeah, I mean, like I said before, like actually being in that room with Jack and creating the music and bouncing off each other, that's just an experience in itself.
Of course, absolutely. Anyone else? Something different? Ethan, what about you? Are you a stage guy or a studio guy?
I'd say I prefer stage. Like, I don't know what it is when you sort of like when you stand on that stage and then sort of like
nothing beats it, man.
It's like as if you turn like
sit on a stage as in a drum stool. Never mind.
It's almost as if you become a different person.
Oh yeah, totally.
It's when I'm at work, I'm so very like I'm sat in a corner by myself and I don't talk to anyone and I'm quite like reserved. But then, because a lot of the people that I work with don't listen to the same music as I do, but they know that I'm in a band and stuff. But like, if they were to see me on stage, they wouldn't think that I was the same person as the same person who sits in a corner and just does not talk to anyone.
Yeah, sure, I get it.
It was just I like the feeling of I get to be someone else for a little bit, for like an hour or something like that.
So the next lot of questions I've got for you guys, I want quick answers because I don't want you to deliberate too long. I want like knee-jerk shit, right? So are you ready for this?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
We'll go around the table. So if you could steal credit for any piece of art, song, film, book, etc., what would you claim to say was yours? Sam, first.
No, put pressure on.
I'll probably go with Man in a Box by Alice in Chains, just that entire song.
So a whole song.
I'd take credit for that.
Cool. It doesn't have to be music, guys. It can be anything you like, anything you think's cool that's out there that you could say you did that. Okay, Joe.
I think maybe the self-titled album of Rage Against the Machine.
Okay, cool.
Absolute flawless album.
Jack?
For me, I'd love to say I wrote that Tool song Numa, because that is just like that is just, like
I get you.
I think that song is just a psychedelic experience of its own. Yeah. It's a masterpiece.
Yeah, I get that. Okay, Ethan.
I'd take that one.
I'd want to take credit for all the Dark Souls games that were ever created.
Okay. Yeah.
So that everyone would hate.
Okay, moving on. If you could have any superpower, what power would you have and why? Start with Jack.
Being able to write Tool songs. I don't know. That's a great question. The power of strength, just infinite strength, so that you can play a show for 75 hours.
Okay. Okay, Ethan, you.
The power of teleportation, so that I don't have to pay for transport.
That's true. Joe?
That was mine, but probably fly as well.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Sam?
Fly.
I'd want to be Spider-Man.
Oh, just climb over shit.
Yeah, just like all the Spider-Man abilities.
It's almost a fast way of travel as well. So next,
it's just cool.
Death row meal, Sam.
Oh, death row meal. Definitely a paella, 100% with all the seafood in it.
Nice, Joe.
Definitely like a nice sirloin steak.
Oh, good shit.
I knew you
nice fried egg.
Oh, lovely.
And some chips.
Oh, class. Jack.
Just a massive fry up.
Yeah, all the trimmings, even black pudding.
Oh, extra black pudding.
Ethan.
Definitely Chicago town stuffed crust pizza.
Oh, frozen pizza? Are you serious?
Oh yeah.
Don't bring the bass player world down with shit answers, man.
That's shocking.
We'll fly that pizza in from Chicago. Never mind it being frozen. For fuck's sake.
No, it's from the Tesco down road.
It's his choice. It's fine. It's his choice. Okay, here's a cool question. I'm gonna start with you with this, Joe. If you could choose one song to play every time you walked into the room for the rest of your life, what song would it be? So it's like door opens, Joe's here. What track would it be?
Thunderstruck, AC/DC.
Yeah, class. It's a good one. It's always a good answer. That Sam.
Oh shit. I don't know. What's Batista's WWE entrance theme? That one.
I walk alone.
It's a good one. Okay, Ethan.
Yeah, that one.
Mine definitely Sexy Back. That just be fucking hilarious.
You're coming up with some good answers tonight, man. I tell you what. Jack.
Mastodon, Blood and Thunder every time.
Good one. Okay, what do you think is the heaviest, nastiest, most stink face riff of all time, Jack?
Oh no. Why have you gone for me first on this one?
Because Sam went first last time, so we have to go around the table.
That's heavy. That
if you want to defer it, you can do it.
No, I've got to accept it. The Meshuggah tune, Perpetual Black Second, the drop riff was like.
Okay, cool. Yeah, got you. Okay, Ethan, you all three of you had plenty of time while Jack just did that. So Ethan, you go.
It'd probably be our song. There Is Nothing. That is
fair
a
enough.
stank face sort of song.
Fair enough. Okay, Joe.
I'd maybe like in Sue P by System.
Right. Okay.
That's a heavy when it goes dum 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 dum. That bit that's hard. That's hard.
Sam.
Mine would be Break Those Bones for You Sign Who's Gave It Motion by Meshuggah. It's like after the first chorus, it's like there's the do, and then there's like a slight pause and it comes back in with the first riff, and I'm just like, oh come on.
Class. Crazy. Love that. Okay, you might not be able to answer this question because not everyone gets it like I do, but tell me an unpopular musical opinion that you have. So do you have one that's a bit like you could divide a room and go, you fucking real? That kind of shit. I want those kind of vibes. Sam, do you have anything? You can shout this out. You don't have to answer this question. It's a random one.
I probably do, to be honest.
Everyone's got one.
I think punk music, and I'm talking like punk music from like as early as it can be from the 1970s all the way through the 80s and the 90s. I just think it is genuinely the shittiest kind of music I've ever heard in my life.
Fair enough. That's good. Okay, that's good enough. Joe?
James Blunt's pretty cool.
Okay, that's okay. That's okay.
I
I
agree.
like James
That's
Blunt.
okay, man. That's okay. Chicago Town Pizza and James Blunt in the same conversation. I didn't expect this on my bingo card for this chat, but Jack, you're next.
I probably have a few that will get me in trouble, but
With who? It's only us guys, right?
I know. Well, the rest of the world maybe.
I can play the countdown music now at this point. But I might just add that in.
Honestly, it's pathetic. This, isn't it? It's terrible.
You're
Terrible,
right,
unprofessional interviewing skills.
Ethan, what have you got?
I really think Oasis are overrated.
Oh, get
Okay.
out.
Thank
Get
you.
out.
That's-
Get out.
That was the one I was looking for. Thank you.
Ethan's out of the band now.
Okay, here we go. Check this one out. What's on the band's bucket list? What do you want to achieve? Like, this is a bit more of a serious question. What would it take for you to think that you've actually got there? What stage? What festival? What thing would it be to know that you think, right, Dekaytah are there now? We've done it.
I think I'd speak for everyone here. Like Download. I think I speak for a lot of bands in our position. Download's the main one. But yeah, I think like maybe our own headline tour that goes like out of like the UK and Europe. I think like it actually selling, and I think that's the kind of point where I'm like, shit, we're doing something special there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
I think I'd like to really play like a bucket list one. Red Rocks is it in Las Vegas?
California, isn't it?
Yeah,
California.
Wherever it is in America, that
West
Coast, Red Rocks, like the amphitheater, like it would be so cool to play there.
Nice. Okay, what's the most used emoji in your phones?
Oh God,
reaching for the
this is going
phones.
to be good.
The top left corner, I think it would be on your if using an iPhone.
Mine's that emoji where it's like pointing.
Oh, the pointing one, like the big finger to the screen.
So it's like I like it because it's just very aggressive and it gets your point across.
Like
you.
What's good? You put like the laughing emoji and then the pointing, so it's like you're laughing like
you. What's yours, Joe?
I think that, to be fair, like the laughing
both
emoji,
of you.
like
Ethan, what's yours?
Mine is a love heart. Send it to our message.
Love Chicago Town Pizza. Jack, what's yours?
The poo emoji.
The what emoji?
The poo emoji.
Oh, class. So, what track should I play next and why from your repertoire?
Oh, go on, Jack. You can.
You tell me now. I'm going to bookend this interview with two of your tracks. What should I start the interview with, and what should I end the interview with, and why?
Okay, I'd start the interview with Tears, Blood, Sweat just because it's just catchy and brutal, straight in your face.
Yeah.
And then I would finish it with There Is Nothing because it's just massive.
Title track.
Yeah, title track, massive, chunky, all over the shop.
Now, my final question will be: describe the band in 3 words. But since there's 4 of you, you're going to get an extra one. So we'll start with you, Sam. I want a word each to describe the band.
As people or as the music?
As a music, like, what if you describe the band to someone, you had to describe it's aggressive, it's strong, it's this,
well,
that.
Yeah, literally, you took the word right out of my mouth. Aggressive.
Aggressive ones. Joe?
Energy.
Jack?
Silly.
Ethan?
Big.
Love it. Guys, thanks for joining me on the show. Really, really appreciate it. Good luck with everything. And I'll be playing your tracks forever and a day on the show.
Thank you so much, Dan. We really appreciate that. Really, really do.
Massively appreciate you having us on. Thanks so much.